Greetings. Hello, hi. I'm going to tell you a whole lot of things that you probably haven't heard before. Or maybe you do know, but it's just that you needed verification in terms of what you know. I prefer the outside, okay? I prefer adventure. I prefer exploration. I prefer the external. So what you see like from afar there, that's A1, huh? So apparently but to bar disenke. You see the structure. Is the structure from a different angle. Anyway, I want you to know how this evil, bad, demonic, occultic people do their thing. Okay? So it's like this. They send invincible spirits, invincible entities. Okay? So they actually use Holy Bible scriptures or what's written in the Holy Bible. I have told you before that in the Holy Bible there are words of Satan, words of the devil, words of God, words of prophets, words of pastors, words of teachers. So you have to know how to distinguish such words. Proceeding forward or proceeding ahead. These entities, you know the saying which says, an idle mind is the devil's playground. So it's like these entities are sort of like balloons, or they're like little bottles or little bubbles. Okay? And then what they do is like they move at different speeds. So they will sort of come to spy as to where I am, and then they will sort of be pulled backwards. Okay? So it's sort of like flying, but it's not really flying, it's sort of like hovering. Okay? And as they are hovering, I call them idle. Okay? It's like they are idling. They are idling, and then it's almost as if they are observing as they are idling. So they go back and forth. Okay? The things that are written in the Holy Bible, they go back and forth. So I actually came up with this thing like, okay, it says spirit. If it says the spirit searches all things, it's like a spy. You understand? Spy, right? Spirit. So it's very, very weird, you know? It's very, very weird. That could it be that the spirit is actually my enemy? Who would have thought? Who would have thought? So we gotta correct what's happening. Okay? So oftentimes when I sort of move away from their radar or from their proximity, they will then try to stay behind me or be at my back. Okay, I guess maybe they are also using things that are written in the Holy Bible, like Satan, get thee behind me. Okay, these psych, This is cute. They recently came up with a word for her. They were like thank cute. Okay, it's very, very weird. Very, very weird. So they are using Bible scriptures like get thee behind me, Satan. So they will stay at the back, and then they will begin to utter things like thief, thief, thief is what they would utter. Okay, they will then say thief, thief, thief. And as they create or sort of concentrate such an energy, you will get a sense that you are being pulled, as if they are pulling the energy from your being, or as if they are pulling power, nutrients from your being at your back. Okay? They will just continue to utter thief, thief, thief. So what I realized is when they say thief, it's as if they are becoming a magnet. Okay? A magnet. So, you know the net, you know how to fish, right? When you fish, you sort of like throw a fishing line or a hook, or you get a net. Okay, so a magnet, magi, okay, magnet. So what I realized is we have to create something, or I have to create something, or the associates have to create something that's similar to like a magnet that are different, so that both magnets can repel each other. You understand? So it's sort of like maybe having a very, very powerful aura around the biological animation. Okay? Because if at all they are doing what they are doing, trying to bring down a real, authentic, original Christian or saint or law abiding, it means they are probably doing experiments to know how to take different ones or different individuals down. Okay? So my assumption or my expectation is that few that are out there will hear this and probably relate or compare with what they know or what they are experiencing. Okay, proceeding further. So this is how they do the mind reading. Okay, when they do this tracing or tracking, they will then begin to speak a whole lot of words, you know, sort of trying to create an argument. I guess it is maybe debate, you know, because when you debate, you sort of like you have a bait, right? So you are baiting, and then what you do, you expect to catch. Okay? So that's how they do it. They create so many words or arguments so as to provoke a reaction. Okay, I don't know what it is. I don't know what's happening with the religious people, or are they now just straight up demonic devils, you know? Like if it says worth hearing, provoking a reaction, it's just on a whole different level, isn't it? So as they are doing these things, they sort of create an environment that is similar to what that particular person is experiencing, so that they sort of trigger an emotion, and then they are able to say or to detect that this is the particular individual that they have been looking for, or that they have been searching, or that they have been seeking. You know, when you say you are seeking, it's sort of like you are making them sick. Okay? So, you know, sometimes words, I like Malungu, I like the white people, I like Makho, okay? They make a whole lot of sense. Sometimes it's just like when you say be patient, okay? Or wait. When you say be patient, it means be sick, okay? It means be a patient. You understand the complexity of the vocabulary. So you sort of have to adjust to a point whereby you get out of such environments, or you just become numb in terms of the emotions, in terms of your reactions. But then what they are doing again is that they are chowing the brain, okay? They are eating the brain when they are doing such things. Because what would have happened is that they would have removed, or according to them, they think they have removed the God from the body. Now, this God from the body is responsible for repairing everything that gets broken in the body. So the constant conversations or the communication or words or noise, it's a way to confuse the God that is supposed to repair the body. So imagine a situation whereby they are eating the brain. So what they do is sort of like a way of converting the brain into a fluid. Okay, it becomes like a fluid, it becomes like a juice. You get what I mean? I guess that's probably brain juice or brain power that they are making attempts to create. So the noise can also be compared to like bees, okay? You know how bees are just buzzing continuously in an attempt to make honey. You understand? So according to them, it's actually a way of them killing a lion. Okay? Because even these religious devils, they would say the Eon. The Eon means a lion without the L. Okay? The Eon. The iron. So it's crazy. It's crazy. I guess it's probably why they even have a movie called The Gods Must Be Crazy. The gods are crazy. I just wanted to give you an insight in what is happening, because when I say that the brain sort of becomes like a fluid or a juice, I had like the sensation of this whilst I was my complete self, or when I was whole, or what should I say, when I was completely perfect. I was talking to this other individual, and then what I sensed was sort of like a continuous energizing brain power or brain juice activity. Okay, so beware of those that are bald. I mean, like those who don't have hair on their heads, because to my assumption, or from my assessment, is that they actually tolerated the noise for a very long time, to a point that the brain was eaten. And then, it means that the hair follicles ceased from growing. Hence, they became bald. Okay? I guess maybe it's sort of like circumcision of the brain or circumcision of the head. No offense, but you all know that yours that are bald, like, the head will then look like a penis or a dick. Okay, maybe sort of like circumcision. Okay, because from my whole assessment, it's like the circumcision begins with the heart. They circumcise the heart. And of course, there is the circumcision of the penis. And then, once they are done with the heart, they will then want to circumcise what? The brain or the mind. And after that, they will probably want to circumcise maybe your God, the one who created your whole body, your whole biological animation. But they won't succeed. Okay. They are weapons fashioned against the few chosen will perish. Their weapons will perish. I just wanted you to know my views. Okay, observe, report. Okay, document your reportings. Okay, because if you don't report, then how else will different individuals know? How will they know? Okay, Don't be ignorant. Though ignorance is bliss, just don't be ignorant, eh? How will they know? How will you know if you don't report? Report, document, make it smart, make it soapy, make it soap. As in like subjective, objective, assessment, planning, implementation, evaluation. It's been marvelous that you have made attempts to pay attention to my messages, to my text, to my SMSs. I have told you, don't call, message, text, SMS. I'm not active on Facebook. I don't have a Facebook profile. I don't have a WhatsApp profile. I'm currently using only Telegram. Okay? You know, before I leave, this thing called dikgang, okay? What it simply means, I mean like in terms of like the unwanted or bad odor, or offensive odor or foul odor, is because of dikgang. The noise is dikgang. So when you insert the N, it becomes dinkang. Okay? So it is what it is. I am that I am. Marvelous.